Hi, this is Chris Cook with the Budget Guide, and today I'm going to go over how to create a budget. If you haven't watched the other videos in this series, please do so because creating a budget is actually not the first step. I will go over how to create a budget and the ins and outs of that and what are the best practices. Now that you've been tracking your income and expenses for a month, you could see, okay, if I'm making this much, I can't spend more than that. So you have to limit yourself to below what you're making. And then the expenses, you could look specifically at the different categories you tracked and determine which ones you could cut back on. For example, instead of eating lunch out, you can make a lunch and plan for preparing those meals and buying the ingredients and the other things from the store for that. Or instead of eating twice a week, you could eat once a week out, or other things you could do. You have to get creative with what you're thinking in each category and figure out, okay, I can limit it, because you want to take this money and you want to put it somewhere else. You have to go back to your goals and see, okay, I want this much money for my other goals, and so I have to cut it out of what I'm spending here. If you're in debt, you want to make sure that you're paying that off, and you want to try to pay that off as soon as you can. So all that expenses you're cutting back on, you're really just trying to pay off that debt. If you're not in debt, then you could start putting more money towards savings and investing, and saving specifically for those things that you want later on in life, such as retiring or a boat or a better house or whatever that is. Those savings would be for that. And I mean, savings could be long-term like those examples, or it could be more short-term for like a vacation that you want to take next year. So you'll have to put this money aside for those goals you have. In addition to paying down debt or putting money away for later, with savings, you'll want to build up an emergency fund. The emergency fund is determined by how much money you're making. So you could say, okay, if I'm making this much a month, I want to put this much aside for emergency for one month's worth. You'll want to build that up to 6 months, but start off with a month, because that will be very helpful to you, so that when big expenses come, like the tires need to be replaced or other emergencies that happen, then you'll have that money aside for those emergencies that come. Again, if you're paying down debt, still, you want an emergency fund. If you're done paying down debt, just start your savings plan by getting that emergency fund first, and then start saving for the future. So there you have it. That's how to create a budget. I'm also going to have a video about a spreadsheet that I have that I will show you how I have a budget, and you could even use that spreadsheet. I'll have a link for that. That will be the next video here. Other than that, yeah, I know it was brief, but it was simple and it's necessary to be able to be successful in budgeting. You don't want to have something that's too complex that you're not going to be able to handle for the long term. You want to just be simple, make things easier for you, and also be very effective about making more money than you're spending, or spending less than you're making, and making sure that you're actually going to be financially successful and financially independent.